Oh, you have to. The Chandler Gilbert women's soccer team is slowly getting back to full strength. The team back on home turf, looking to end a three-game losing streak, taking on the Pima Aztecs. We hit the grass right here in the East Valley of South Chandler on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Pequeno alongside Coyotes men's assistant coach Bryce Johnson. Coach, kind of a tough stretch for Coach Scott Smith. He's been handcuffed by injuries left and right. They're coming off 3 losses, all against really good teams. Top-ranked Phoenix College, a Yavapai squad that is flat-out dangerous, and, of course, Scottsdale, and a tough stretch, but this team trying to persevere and move on.
Yeah, I think the light at the end of the tunnel is the fact there's only 5 gray shirts standing on the sideline instead of 7 that we had at our last home match. So, as you mentioned, right, limping through the middle of the schedule, but getting fresh bodies back in uniform and able to find the field. So, looking to gain a little bit of momentum before the last final 5 matches now of the regular season, and a couple more wins sees them in the tournament. And so, good to, again, get the fresh legs back, but, getting into crunch time as far as must-win games.
The squad enters 1-6 overall, 1-5 in league last time out. Last Saturday, a 4-0 loss to Scottsdale. Shots have been hard to come by. Only 2 shots on goal in the loss to the Artichokes. No shots on goal against Yavapai, and only 1 against Phoenix College. Talking to Scott Smith, he said, look, at this point, we got a young team. But at this point, they can no longer say they haven't faced the best in the league. It's time to go up and go out there and start playing to the potential, and they know they have a big task on hand, but they've been through the gauntlet to get them ready.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, it's been arguably one of the toughest schedules that they've had to face in years for the first half of the season. And so now, again, this is the meat and potatoes of it. This is the time where it's you got to bear down and get through it and get a couple of wins under your belt, because it doesn't get easier in this conference. However, the toughest parts, I would say, are behind them, but aside from today.
Juanita Morales and Allie Davis with 3 goals apiece to lead the squad. Cheyenne Crapo with a pair. Samantha Haug will be in keeper. 49 saves. She's allowed 23 goals. So here come the Aztecs, led by legendary, iconic coach Kendra Valise. Record of 4-4-1. They've been in every game. They're running a 3-game winning streak, led by top scorer Camelia Rascon with 5 goals. Goaltender Adriana Pacheco, she's a returner from last year, ranked 4th in league in save percentage. This is a team that flat out really good last year. They made the postseason, a fresh team, but that 4-4-1 record, it could easily be 8-2-1. They've been in every game, so this team, regardless of their youth, they're going to bring it, and they've got a lot of firepower and experience across the board.
Yeah, always one of the top teams in the conference is Pima. So, it's going to be a battle today. Again, if I'm the Lady Coyotes, I would look for the first 5 minutes with the way that they're lined up to start today here. You'd expect them to have the wind at their back. I'd love them to use that within the first 10 minutes, get settled in, get stuck into tackles early and try to keep most of the play primarily in their attacking half of the field, and hopefully try to pin Pima back a little bit, because like you mentioned, the 4-4-1 could be better. They fought through that schedule on their end a little bit with a couple of unlucky results, to be fair. But again, a game for the Lady Coyotes to win if they can get in early and get an advantage right out of the first 10-15.
Scott Smith's team averaging 2 goals a game, shot percentage of .209, almost 10 shots per game, giving up over 4 goals a game. And we'll take a moment for our national anthem. Starting lineup for the Coyotes: in between the pipes, freshman Samantha Haug, number 88. Defender number 9, Aaron Holt, who had the dubious distinction of playing goaltender in that loss to Phoenix College. Number 13, Jessica Varney, a freshman defender. Number 15, Cadence Turner, freshman defender. Number 16, Ashley Farr, a freshman defender. Midfielder, number 77, Faith Reyna, batting a little bit of a back injury, but she's going to go out there and gut it out. Number 14, Gemma Larson, also in the midfield. Your forward, Allie Davis, freshman from Highland, having a good season with 3 goals. Cheyenne Crapo, 2 goals from Eastmark, freshman as well. And they're ready to go all out. Corinne Noose also getting a start, defender freshman out of ALA Gilbert North. And they've got the task of taking on this Aztec squad and talking to their head coach, who has done everything and then some for the Aztecs, Coach Feliz, and she talked about every time they come here that Chandler Gilbert always gives them a tough game. And Bryce, Mother Nature is going to play a factor in this one, because if you're listening to this and you're watching this live stream, I promise you, I'm not purring into the microphone. I'm not pulling off my Michael Myers from Halloween. This is no deep breathing. This is all wind. And the wind is blowing all over the place. And what kind of factor will Mother Nature play in this one?
Oh, absolutely. You got 20, 25 mile an hour winds just for fun. And then the gusts, at least at this point, I think are at least 30, 35 mile an hour winds. So when you're going against it, as Pima will be here in the first half, keep the ball on the ground, short passes. If you're attacking, if you get into the final third and you have an opportunity to look on goal, anything within inside of 40 yards, have one. Test the goalkeeper, make her make a save, because it's gnarly. The ball's going to move. It's going to do funny things, as we see right off of the first kick here with a ball dying in front of an attacker. It's going to do tricky things. So again, if you're going against it, keep it on the ground, short passes. And if you've got it at your back, play the ball long, and if you get an opportunity to whip it into the box, don't be shy. Hit it long and hit it hard.
Megan Castle also getting that start, the freshman forward. On the other side for the Aztecs, between the pipes, Adriana Pacheco, a sophomore goalkeeper, ranked 4th in the conference in save percentage, so she's flat out bringing it. Defender, freshman, number 8, Uriel Burrell. Number 10, midfielder, a defender/freshman, Nevia Corvarubius. Number 11, midfielder freshman Solarius Graves. Number 12, Samantha Michael, a defender. Number 13, midfielder Sydney Yerbra. Number 15, Kylie Oliver, midfielder forward. Number 16, Bailey Ferguson, defender midfielder. Number 19, Annalie Oropeza, a defender. Number 22, Jessica Alvarez, a midfielder. And number 27, defender slash midfielder, Ariel Sanchez Himorsila.
And I love the shot on goal from distance there early. Again, wind at your back, test the keeper early. Why not? Make her make a couple saves, see how she's going to handle it. Don't let her feel too comfortable back there early. I love the idea. Not quite on target, but great thought.
So Chandler Gilbert with the wind at their back, trying to take advantage and make some things happen and capitalize and maybe get an early goal in this one, build some momentum. I mean, the last time out, last victory came against South Mountain early in the month, a 7-1 victory, and since then, look, if anything could go wrong physically for this team, it has, and then some. They've persevered, they're battling through, the girls are showing tremendous heart, and that's all they can do. Scott Smith and his staff can only send the ladies out, and they have to learn trial by fire with the bodies they have and continue to play hard. And now they've kind of weathered the storm, and here they are. And maybe Mother Nature giving them a break with the win at their back to start, and hopefully they can capitalize in the early minutes.
No, absolutely. And like you said, you know, the back-to-back losses, again, indicative of two things, obviously. A, the health factor, but B, I mean, that's the toughest part of their schedule, playing some of the best teams in the conference, and it's a difficult enough conference as it is to have that many of the top teams back to back. So love to see them come out early here with a little bit of pace down the wing.
Megan Castle crossing pass, looking for Cheyenne Crapo. Crapo just a hair late getting to it, and now it's the Aztecs trying to punch it down the field, and giving chase is the defender who is always hustling, and that is the tough one, Jessica Varney, the defender out of ALA Queen Creek. Megan Castle trying to take advantage of a pass down the field from Gemma Larson that shoots out wide. So early minutes of this one, both teams trying to feel it out, and of course Mother Nature playing a factor with the wind blowing all over the place, and maybe that can work to the Coyotes' favor early on. And look, this Aztecs team, they're building some momentum, and talking to their coach, and who is a legend in her own right and has done tremendous things. She mentioned that her team, she's had that kind of talk with them, that if they want to get to where they want to go, that there's really, this is it. This is the time to step up and elevate their play. And it's a young group, and she's mentioned that, but along the way, she's talked about how this team really needs to find the way to close out games. They've been great for, as most coaches will tell you, 88 and a half minutes, but you got to finish out the last bit of the ball game, and that's where her team has not capitalized to fully reach their potential. So this week she worked on that, a couple practices. They worked on the, okay, final 5 minutes, game action, go, and try to make it as game serious as possible to try to let them know how important it is for the remainder of the season, because this is where both teams, wins are paramount in playing your Division II opponents, and you have to capitalize on those opportunities.
Absolutely. One thing I noticed already here early that we're going to want to keep our eye on Megan Castle playing here on the right wing, and Allie David moving over to the left wing. Last home game we saw Allie playing here and right in front of us here on the right wing for the majority of the first half. So maybe a tactical move here, trying to again switch things up. Maybe there's something that we see with maybe less pace with on the right side of defense for Pima. Again, Allie, we know she's got wheels when she gets going, so going to be interesting to see how that plays out here throughout the afternoon.
So now, as we see a moonshot, courtesy of Mother Nature, that ball was shot in the air and just blown right back.
It was moving to the left at one point, and the wind gave it the Dikembe Mutombo, sent it back this way.
Yeah, so Mother Nature put up the fierce block, so you can tell right there any moonshot's going to be blown back if it's heading in the south direction toward the Chandler Gilbert goal. So Aztecs, right now, both teams have yet to really make some noise, and early in this one, that's a good sign for Chandler Gilbert.
Oh, absolutely. You love to see, again, getting settled in early, not allowing any chances. Hopefully this doesn't go out for a corner kick, but it's kept in play. And you harmlessly for a goal kick, thank goodness.
And for Scott's team, I mean, I asked him point blank, have you ever really gone through this amount of injuries before as a coach? And he's like, you know, very rare. He says, we get 2 people back, then we lose 2 people. We get 1 person back, then we lose another person. And it's just been a revolving door of an ER unit that they're just trying to squeeze together. And Bryce, look, kind of give us an outlook of how valuable is it to have your chemistry, your right personnel in the field to be able to attack and each player knowing exactly their responsibilities and to have that playing time together to perform.
Well, absolutely, and it's one of those things where, again, as a coach, you preach to your team, you know, hey, next man up or next gal up, right? But at the end of the day, if you think about it, you have one individual on your starting 11 that's out. One of 2 things. You're either bringing someone that would have come off of the bench, or you take another starter out of their normal position in order to move them into the hole. And then again, you move again, you move again, you move again, and ultimately there's only so many times you can shuffle things around before you're losing 2-3% in every position on the field, and ultimately it adds up and it makes matches a lot more difficult for you in the long run.
Gemma Larson feeding on a nice pass to Cheyenne Crapo, who could not reel that in, and she had an opportunity if she could reel it in and could not. And also missing today is midfielder Taylor Brown, who's so instrumental. That big body in the middle of the field really makes things happen, very dynamic. And she, Bryce, has the hockey injury, the lower body injury.
Yeah.
So
undisclosed might as well be, undisclosed.
Yeah, the hockey injury is always the best. Upper body injury, lower body injury, right? It's not specific. I always thought about doing a story on that where it's like if a player had a lower body injury and then do a story on the 1,000 injuries it could be.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We, back in college when I played it, it was similar mindset in St. Louis. It was just unavailable. So again, hopefully that quote lower body injury gets better quickly, because again the matches keep coming hard and fast here in the last couple of weeks with 5 remaining in the schedule.
Cheyenne Crapo making some noise against Nevia Covarrubias, the freshman defender, and Chandler Gilbert applying some pressure, and so far Adriana Pacheco between the pipes, a Tucson native. She went to Cienega High School. Unfazed, no real good looks, as roughly we are in the 10th minute of the first half, and she boots that one, and usually that probably hit midfield, but instead it's about the 40-yard line or so.
No, absolutely. You saw her central midfield player dropping back, expecting it to go back up over her head, and it just died completely. So again, like we were talking about earlier, it's if you have an opportunity to hit it long, and try to pin it back.
Aaron Holt does a great job of clearing that out. Megan Castle bumping bodies. Jessica Varney giving chase on that left corner. Shot across, taken away by far. Good job of clearing it out, but it will be the Aztecs ball. And we're seeing Chandler Gilbert doing its best, and how important is it, and we've seen this in the 3-game slide, allowing too much space, and Mother Nature is a factor here, but how important is it to keep body on body?
Oh, absolutely. Again, the biggest problems have come so far this season for the Lady Coyotes when time and space has been given in midfield and an opportunity to pick their head up and find runners in behind. So far, it's been good. But again, that's one of those things where as matches wear on, does your midfield stay fit? Do they stay tight to their marks? And are they able to keep things secure? And again, we'll see that as it goes. In the first half, that's something that will be A little easier with the wind at your back. However, you know, again, tired bodies and tired legs happen, but again, like we mentioned earlier, a couple players back from injury, so hopefully a little bit more fuel in the tank there to keep things tight in midfield.
For Chandler Gilbert, a squad that's really struggled to put some shots on goal in the last 3 matches. Of course, once again, personnel, it's an influx. It's been changing, a revolving door. This one, they've got some star power in the lineup. Ali Davis, Cheyenne Crapo is out there. What do they have to do to generate some shots and have an opportunity in this one?
Oh, I think, and again, we haven't quite seen it yet, but last home match as well against Yavapai, there's too much isolation, right? A lot of times, anytime one of the forwards would find the ball to their feet and they'd pick their head up, the nearest other striker or midfielder was 15, 20 yards away, and it makes it difficult to keep the ball and create goal-scoring opportunities when you're on an island and you don't have a lot around you to help. So I'd be interested to see them, you know, try to connect a little bit more as they get forward. And again, we've talked about the wind enough, but enough can't be said about the fact that if they get in the final third, if there's space, you know, pick your head up and give it a go, right? And there's a lot that could happen and a lot that you don't know about with this much wind. And again, this is just an absolute nightmare to be a part of if you're a goalkeeper. And again, if you're a forward, it's a dream around, you know, put something on target, force them to make a save, make them do something difficult.
So that being said, we kind of talked about the forwards on both sides and the defenders handling the wind. What's kind of the mindset of the goalkeepers on both sides? First for Adriana Pacheco of the Aztecs, who has the wind interface, and then Samantha Haug on the other side as she faces a shot, and that one's going to go wide. As she faces the wind that's going away from her.
No, absolutely. Again, a goalkeeper facing into the wind as they are here for Pima right now. My message to both my back four and my central midfield players to close down space as quickly as possible, right? Because again, a shot with the wind behind is going to move a lot. It's going to have a lot of dip or curl to it, and it's going to make it really hard to make a save. So I'm telling my back four to make my life as easy as possible and try to close down space and block shots.
Cheyenne Crapo and being chased down by Nivea Covarrubias. Cheyenne tried to turn the corner and Covarrubias cut that off. But you got to like the fact that Cheyenne had an opportunity with one player, one defender to beat.
Yeah, 1v1 with the center defender there. Would love to see her take her touch as she tries to get past her, maybe towards the middle of the goal. Not a left-footed player, unfortunately, but again, I love when you try to get the ball to the middle of the field as an attacker and force a defender to try to push you one way. To our point earlier about, again, the wind for goalkeepers, again, if I'm facing it, you know that balls played in behind your back four are going to hold up and allow strikers to get to them. However, if the ball is overhit, you can usually come out and get it easily. There's not going to be a ton of shots from distance that are going to trouble you, as you saw there. Again, that shot hit from about 30 yards out and a very comfortable save for the keeper.
Jessica Alvarez, first quality rip in this one, and Samantha was able to reel it in. So the first real shot on goal comes in about the 15th minute mark of this first half. Of course, Chandler Gilbert comes into this game fully rested, haven't played since last week, a lot to think about. And about to check in for the squad, number 29, Juanita Morales, the mid forward from Tempe.
And she did a phenomenal job against Yavapai, getting on the ball, finding things to her feet, and then dispersing it out to the wingers from there, trying to get everybody else involved. So again, we see her coming on here. I'd look for her to, again, try to get the ball to her feet and again, play the rest of her strikers in. Looks like she's going to go into the center of the attack here and move Cheyenne out wide right. Again, trying to put the pace on the wings, get in behind the back four, which we'll see how it works.
Aaron Holt back at the center back position. And how about for Aaron? You know, she was thrusted into the goaltending situation a couple games back, and you know, now she's in a more comfortable position. But how hard is that for a player who's, you know, counted on to play the center, and then she's thrusted? She's played goalkeeper in her time in the club circuit, but it's big difference when you jump into the college circuit and have to be counted on to provide some saves.
Oh, absolutely. And like we talked about earlier, right, the little bit here and there, right, you know, again, she's a phenomenal center back and makes life a lot easier for the players around her when she's there in midfield. So again, held her own in goal. Again, not your ideal situation, maybe a couple percentage points below your starting goalkeeper, but the effect that it has then on your back four, where you have your starting center back, someone who can organize both your midfield and your back four. Now, not in that position, it makes everything else around her just a slight bit less than it would be with her there. So again, she did a phenomenal job, made a couple of great saves in her appearance in net, but ultimately, I'm sure you could ask anyone on the coaching staff here for the Lady Coyotes. They are very glad to have her back anchoring the center of that back four and organizing the midfield in front of her as well.
In talking to Pima coach Kendra Blaze, she said that her team sustained some injuries, and as well, Lizzie Walker, one of their leading goalkeepers, that one is in the air, and Adriana Pacheco could have called for the fair catch. Needs to say that ball was up, and you kind of talking about the ball swirling, and she had to watch that closely. You never knew which way the wind was going to take it.
No, absolutely. I mean, that was a ball that it was an attempted clearance from her left back there that found the wind and ended up blowing back into her face. So again, on another day would have been out for a Coyote throw-in on the right side, but not on this day. A bit blustery in the 100-acre wood.
Yeah, shot from the left side. Allie Davis rips it across, trying to find Cheyenne Crapo for a potential close range put in. Still no score.
But I love that there. Again, it was a sighted goal. You're in the attacking third on the edge of the 18. Have a go, right? Again, if you put it on target, you force a goalkeeper to make a save. Worst case scenario, maybe she makes a save. It pops out to one of your other strikers in the box there. I love the thought. I love the ambition there. Have a go, especially as it continues to blow in your favor here with the wind at your back. Put the pressure on, force them to have to defend properly.
Cheyenne battling on that right side, taken away, and that is Yuria Burrell.
Interesting back four that Pima is playing here. They've got their center back playing more like a sweeper in a sweeper stopper formation. Not something you usually see at this level, but the Lady Coyotes love to try to play through balls in behind, and she's just sitting back in the middle, trying to find anything that gets over the head of the rest of her defenders. So again, maybe playing the wind and anticipating some of those long passes being played over the top.
Cheyenne Crapo tries to rip a shot across to Allie Davis that just goes wide of the post. So close. Just trickled wide.
I think that might have kissed the outside of the upright on the way through there, but again, I love the idea. Bouncing ball, something completely uncontrolled, just whip it into the middle, allow your other strikers to get in and try to create a little bit of havoc. You saw the goalkeeper hesitate on whether or not to come out there because she wasn't sure she would have been able to get to it. She would have, but again, the wind confused her a little bit and had her thinking the ball was a bit further from her than it was, and the striker was able to get onto it instead of the outside back and just went wide. I mean, again, those are opportunities that when you're playing against a team that you know you're going to be in one with, that you'd love to see find the net and make your life a little easier.
And Samantha rolls it up for the save, and we're seeing the Coyotes be very aggressive when they're in the front attacking third. The defenders on the attacking back row are coming to midfield and providing support, giving chase. On that right side, Juanita Morales.
Coach Meskel asking for a touch there from the left back. I might have heard it myself, but it's a Aztec throw.
Still no score, almost. Ending the 21st minute. Aaron Holt from center back coming all the way back up. Now it's the Aztecs trying to make some noise. A little punch pass up to the right side. Looking to cross, take it away. Cadence Turner in a battle. And Cadence, let me tell you, Cadence will always be physical on her end. Not afraid to put a body on a body, and a very fierce defender. Strong east and west.
Yeah, that whole chance there, though, created from an errant pass. You had possession in midfield. Step on it sometimes, right? If it's not on going forward, step on it, find the simplest ball, move it around a little bit, gain some possession. Forced pass there led to the counter, and again, especially when you have the wind, you have this momentum. The more time you can be on the ball, force the opposition to have to defend you. It's a whole heck of a lot easier to run for the ball when you're asking for it from a teammate than it is to chase it when the other team's knocking it around you.
Megan Holt checking in to provide some work on defense. Chandler Gilbert with an opportunity, a throw in, and Jessica Varney will survey the field and trying to find a right connection. No score in this one. Shot opportunities have been limited. Mother Nature, good day to fly a kite. Good day to get out and catch the breeze and then some. Burrell try to knock it up the field, take it away. A shot from the left side, and Pacheco on the effort by Megan Castle.
Again, I don't hate it. Get it into the mixer. The winger on the left side there just didn't quite see the fact that the ball was coming from across there. And again, if you get a runner into the box, that could be an easy tap in. But I love the idea. Get it in the box, make things difficult.
Jessica Alvarez for the Aztecs on that left side. Crossing pass, and this one is knocked away. Megan Castle will try to bring it down through the air, and the Aztecs will go back to work on the throw-in.
A little too much space there for my liking with someone of that ability with a big left foot there. Close her down. You're not gonna get beat in behind there. You know, give it a lot of pressure. Do not allow the ball to be crossed that easily into the area. But Coyotes defended it well in the middle, and again, ultimately getting possession after poor touch on the throw.
So we've got a water break, and that is the standard here in Arizona, because in case you didn't know this about the state of Arizona, it gets very hot here.
Not cold.
No. We don't suffer blizzards. We suffer nuclear heat. And right now, this is decent. Weather's 94 degrees, and good day to be outside, and definitely a good day in this kind of weather to put the sunblock on and hydrate. And we're 22 minutes plus into this one, Bryce, and so far a stalemate, and it seems like both teams are trying to feel each other out all the way. Both sides are kind of trying to fill out the wind as well.
No, absolutely, and with all due respect to both teams, a bit of an ugly one here to start. Not a lot of possession. The more time, again, with the wind that the ball spends in the air, the more time it is spending not being possessed by either team. So again, the first team that recognizes that anything played off the turf is not probably going to go the way you want it to, the better off you're going to be. So I'd love to see the Lady Coyotes here settle in. Again, they withstood the storm. If anything, they've had a little bit more of the half chances. Get the ball on the turf, 5-10 yard passes, keep it simple, move off of the ball, and again, force the Aztecs to defend. Again, we haven't really seen either team possess it a little bit and take some of the sting out of the game. It's been a little bit of a little bit of table tennis, the way it's been pinging back and forth. And again, I'd love to see the Lady Coyotes assert themselves a little bit with some possession and force the Aztecs to defend.
And for Chandler Gilbert, the last time they led in a ball game was September 9th against South Mountain, that 7-1 victory. For each minute that passes, that they're in this one, what does that do for their confidence against this Pima team that comes in riding a 3-game winning streak and has playoff aspirations?
Oh, absolutely. Again, you mentioned earlier, the Lady Aztecs could be, 8-2-1 at this point, and at this point of the year, any team has looked at every other team's schedule. They've looked at every other team's results. They know what the standings look like, right? Especially as you're battling for a playoff spot towards the second half of the season. So, it's there's no secrets at this point of the year, and again, the longer that scoreboard stays 0-0 or hopefully 1-0 for the Lady Coyotes, the better, and the more they can convince themselves more than anything that that they're in this. They can play with this team, you know, the injury bug is hopefully, you know, well behind them, and they have enough in the tank to get over the hump finally.
Aztecs controlling the ball at midfield, trying to methodically work a little bit of a pyramid up the field and get themselves in scoring position. That right side, and that is shot across. And we kind of talked about the open space as Jessica Varney tries to knock it away, and Samantha right there. And once again, we saw a little bit of looseness by the Coyotes defense, and Aztecs with some good looks right in their front vision.
Oh yeah, way too much space. Again, you're not gonna, again, I understand that you're not gonna give up a goal on a shot from 25, 30 yards out into the wind, but more than allowing a shot, you're giving too much space for, again, a little bit of possession and movement off the ball, not a lot of marking in midfield, and that could have ended up a lot worse than it did. A bit of a bailout foul, quite frankly, there that allowed that to be cleared.
So Chandler Gilbert now on the other side of the field. Cadence Turner knocks it out of bounds. So Aztecs, we are in the 26th minute of this first half. Shots have been few and far apart. Both goaltenders now truly tested. And if you're a Chandler Gilbert fan and you've had to deal with the frustrations of the injuries, and Allie Davis knocks on the turf, and it's going to be an opportunity. And Scott Smith wanted a yellow card and he doesn't get the call, but needs to say it's going to be an opportunity for Chandler Gilbert. And now there's some pushing and shoving going on. Cheyenne Crapo alongside Nevia Covarrubias,
to be fair,
pushing and shoving a little bit.
Yeah, the referee's had his whistle in his pocket all day so far. He's let a lot of things go, which, again, every referee is going to have their own tendencies, right? Some officials like to let them play a little bit, like a little more physicality go. Some call it a little tighter. Today we've definitely got the referee that's the former. He lets a little bit more go. So, like you said, Coach Smith may be asking for a card there, or a little bit more that was given. It stayed true to form for what he's done for the first, 25 plus minutes. But that being said, we'll be interested to see if it gets a little chippy.
And that one is shot wide, a good opportunity, and Karen Noose on the free kick just shoots it wide. Adriana Pacheco sweating bullets, but needs to say remains a scoreless one from Chandler Gilbert.
Didn't look like she saw that one cleanly around her wall until it was a bit late. Something on target there probably would have beat her, as she didn't really see that ball coming off of the boot.
Megan Castle fires one right at Pacheco. So you got to love the effort by Megan. Turned the corner and got a shot on goal, and that is what this team has been lacking, shot opportunities. And look, they're trying to create, and they're trying to make the most of their opportunities when they get looks at different angles. You got to shoot the ball in net and give yourself a chance. Megan Castle battling with Covarrubias right there on that right side. And so that being said, so Scott wanted the yellow card that we just saw on the physicality just a short time back. And now, how does that play out if on the other side the referee pulls out the whistle, and now you really don't know the physicality of the game on either side?
Yeah, a little bit of a high boot there. I understand. Maybe the next 5 he'll tighten it up just to try to get it a little bit under control. Again, whenever you have maybe some pushing and shoving, a little extracurriculars, as they say, right? Maybe call it a little tight over the next couple of minutes. But again, this guy looks like he's going to let him play a little bit, which, if you know that's the game that you're in, maybe take advantage of it. Get a hip in early, get a shoulder to a defender early, let them know you're there, and then capitalize on some of that physicality, before a potential whistle comes.
And the middle ref is Alex Casada, by the way. Your SAR1 is Ashton Ching, and AR2 is Mike Hill. So that rounds out the referees that will try to keep the peace in check between these two teams. And both teams they're feeling the urgency of the season. Both teams need victories. Both teams have playoff aspirations. Chandler Gilbert, a desperate squad. Pima, a team that's riding a 3-game win streak. And Coach Felice has talked about coming here is never an easy task. Chandler Gilbert always steps up and plays well. And Scott's team, they battle. Regardless of the personnel, they put up a fight.
Well, and make no mistake about it, neither of these teams are exactly best friends. it's always a hotly contested game between these sides, whether it's on the men's or the women's side of the ball. There's no love lost between these two teams.
So you kind of touched on that, Bryce. Let's talk about the mindset between the Chandler Gilbert soccer programs and Pima. Pima's got a little bit of a storied history. Chandler Gilbert's trying to build that on both sides. What's kind of like the mindset of these two teams from a Chandler Gilbert perspective when you match up against Pima, and then you face it, and then you kind of feel the wrath that you're going to get from Pima and what they're bringing to the table?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, you mentioned earlier, the long tenured coach of the Lady Aztecs, right? It's a program that's kind of been there, done that, right? Whereas, under the new regime, under Coach Smith, the Lady Coyotes trying to build, this program to the place where you want it to be. So, as a coach, you have that kind of in your hip pocket to talk about, hey, they've done that, they've been there. We're the ones that want to kind of take them off the pedestal a little bit as to where they are and ultimately where you'd like to go as a program. And again, as a player, it's something where you always love the opportunity to face someone that's maybe supposed to beat you, but ultimately games aren't played on paper, they're played on the field, and you have an opportunity to mix it up and maybe surprise a few folks. So
Kendra Veliz, a Tucson native, played sweeper at Boston College and joined Pima in 2001, NJCAA Region 1 champions in 2007, 14, 15, 21, ACCAC Conference champions in 2002, 2007, 2009, 2014, 2015. So her resume, quite impressive. I asked her about this year's team as well, even though they're young, and she says, look, that's the difficulty of a junior college program. You're turning over a team every 2 years. Cheyenne Crapo battling down that right side. Cheyenne and Burrell knocks it away. And Coach Scott Smith barking at his players to initiate. And, Bryce, as we see Faith Reyna tumble on the turf, opportunities like this, when you get them, how important is it? And I'm going to state the obvious, that everyone has to be locked in and has to be going 150% at all times.
Oh, absolutely. You heard him say get involved there, and he's specifically talking to his left winger, Allie Davis, there, where you have your striker on an island, two defenders. He'd love to see her come over, show a little support, maybe find the ball to her feet, make that life a little easier on your striker rather than going 1v2, get numbers up into the middle of the field and have an opportunity to get a decent shot on goal. But maybe she was expecting an early cross, stayed isolated on the other side of the field. But ultimately, like we talked about earlier, the strikers for the Lady Coyotes haven't exactly been well connected getting forward, and that was a perfect example of that, a striker with the ball in the attacking third, but completely on an island by themselves.
Closing in on 12 minutes left in this first half. A scoreless affair as Aaron Holt hits the turf, and it's going back the other way. Casada makes that call.
Excellent effort there from your center back. She got around the striker. Striker tried to shield it off, but ultimately the ball's too far away. You're going to get called for that every time, but again, that's just excellent effort from your center back there, forcing the attacker into the foul.
And if you get the feeling that if Chandler Gilbert can just punch one in, rediscover the feeling of scoring a goal, and right now, look, when you go through, Bryce, you go through 3 games, and once again, we're not going to make excuses. The injuries have been well documented, rotating personnel left and right. But when you go through 3 games of not scoring, is it like a huge monkey on the back of a team that you're constantly feeling the pressure of trying to score a goal?
If anyone ever tells you that it's not, they're lying to you. It absolutely is. It's something as a striker you know, you feel, again, it's a confidence issue. You feel the weight of the ball every time you go to strike it on goal. You know it's there, but the point you were alluding to, you see one of them go in, and there's just a woosah. You have that moment of clarity, if you will, or relief, whatever you want to call it. But once you see one of them go in, you remind yourself, oh, you know what? I can do this.
Yeah.
And everything else from there gets a lot easier. And again, going into the wind, as the Lady Coyotes will be here in the second half, you'd love to get one so that you can kind of use the wind to your advantage defensively. Because again, when you have the lead and you know what is going to be coming your way defensively, it makes your life a lot easier to defend.
Jessica Varney right in front of our faces in a battle with Celeria Graves. Now it's Cheyenne, and Cheyenne trying to beat Burrell to the ball, and Burrell tries to knock it away and right into the wind gust.
And again, Pima playing with that sweeper, right? Typically at this level, you see a back four of two center backs playing next to each other, passing the central striker off back and forth with each other. But again, Pima playing with one deep sweeper and three fullbacks in front of her, marking each one of the Chandler Gilbert strikers. Anything that's gone over the top and in behind has been cleaned up pretty easily here by the Lady Aztecs, and it's definitely due to that tactical formation. Again, you had the wind behind you. Maybe they knew what would be coming, and again, well defended and ultimately well coached.
Megan Castle with an opportunity as Allie Davis spills in. Yuria Burrell, and Burrell's done a nice job. We talk about her being in the back, and she's done a nice job almost as the quarterback of that defense in the center part of the field and right in front of Adriana Pacheco between the pipes. Under 10 minutes left in this first half as the Coyotes trying to get on the board, trying to end a three-match scoreless streak.
Well, I love that move out of the midfield there. Again, it was just a simple 1, 2, 5, 7-yard pass. It's something that anyone at this level can do, but it amazes me sometimes how players will try to complicate the game a little bit. Johan Cruyff, the Dutch great, always said soccer is such a simple game until you make it complicated.
And once again, there's some physicality going on as Aaron Holt was knocked on the turf, and Scott Smith and the coaching staff they are in the ear of Quesada, the ref at the midfield position. So now tempers are flaring on the Chandler Gilbert side, questioning the referees and their judgments or lack of on the field. And we can only speculate.
Yeah, something behind the play there again, as an official. You're watching the ball, you're watching what's going on, directly in front of you, and when something happens behind the play, that's typically your assistant referees able to help you out and maybe point something like that out to you, but no one else there watching.
And we can't understate the play Burrell just made just a minute ago. There was two Chandler Gilbert forwards coming up, and if they could split Burrell, it was a perfect opportunity. And Burrell knocked it away. And now Scott Smith had a conversation with one of the referees, and the referee just said, I'm going to look for it the next time around. And that looking for it the next time around doesn't appease the pain and suffering that the coach has suffered on the play that just happened. Jessica Barney coming up that right side, boots it down. Megan Castle giving chase, and Burrell, once again, quarterback of that defense, doing a great job. A tall, lanky defender, moves well and sees the field very well.
Again, 2-3 simple passes on the ground for the Lady Coyotes, and they were moving up the field pretty easily, and then again, the ball gets hit over the top. You've got a sweeper standing there literally just waiting for it. That's her only job, stand back there, and cleaned it up again.
Shot from the right side, and that one is wide. A bullet from that right side.
Again, too much time and space being allowed there That shot just trickling wide, but again, as an outside back, you have to press a little bit, try to make that shot a little bit more difficult than it was.
Beautiful shot by Bailey Ferguson, sophomore out of Ironwood Ridge, Tucson. Came up from that right side and fired it up. Just to the left of Samantha. Scott Smith, you can sense his frustration.
Yeah, he wants a goal almost as bad as the players do at this point. Again, even as a coach, sometimes you know when your team's playing well and has maybe earned one, but hasn't quite had one go in yet. And again, you can feel it from him. There's an energy over there where he knows his ladies have probably earned one to this point and just haven't had an opportunity to knock one home.
And that ball's loose and knocked away. Ashley Farr, now Samantha is down on the grass.
And one thing of note, the last substitution for the Lady Coyotes, when Megan came off there, Allie Davis moving over here to the right wing, again trying to, maybe exploit a little bit of a pace situation, trying to get in behind. But again, the balls to the strikers need to be played to feet and allow them to go 1v1, force the sweeper out of the middle of the field, because again, it's just been too easy every time they look to play one over the top.
So your middle ref, Alex Casada, is there. Mike Hill, the AR2, as Samantha is down on the grass. And once again, this is a very, very thin Chandler Gilbert roster right now. And if she's out, we might have to see Erin Holt go back between the pipes. And if that is the case, how does that change the dynamic?
Well, again, the organization in midfield and within their back four has been much, much better today than it was against Yavapai, most recently in their last home match. So, again, it's the incremental changes that we talk about, right? Again, maybe hey, you have another center back that can play really well, but it's a small maybe down back step there. Again, slight back step, having to put her in goal from what you would have had from your starting goalkeeper, and again, every time you make one of those changes where you have to move someone to a different position where they would have been, right? It's those incremental notches down on your scorecard, if you will, that ultimately can allow for a little bit of pressure. But at the same time, when they're gaining a little bit of fitness, gaining a little bit of health, maybe again something for them to rally around here with 5 minutes to play in the first half.
Trainer out to check on Samantha. She lies on the grass. And now the points of frustration for Scott Smith and his staff. And now Russ Luce, the athletic director of Chandler Gilbert, is going to go check the status of Samantha as well. And as if this team hasn't sustained enough injuries, Samantha now is sitting upright, which is a good sign. But you can really sense the frustration from the Chandler Gilbert coaching staff and the referees at several points in this one that they're not getting calls, and the frustration is building more in a tight ball game. And we talked about, like, each refereeing crew is going to call things differently, but right now Chandler Gilbert, the coaching staff, they're highly frustrated.
Yeah.
Now they see another of their players laying on the turf.
Yeah, and I mean that's a bit of an unfortunate one, right? That's a bit of a soccer play. You have a ball 50-50 and a goalkeeper coming out and committing, trying to take the angle and get to the ball first. So, again, you hope your keeper is doing well and gets back up and is able to resume. That one, again, that's a 50-50. That's a bang play. Again, maybe a couple a bit earlier where a tug here, a tug there, or something, after the ball is away. That's the stuff that again, as a coaching staff, you don't want to see, because that takes away from the game itself. But again, hopefully, hopefully goalkeeper, as she's back on her feet, is able to resume. But again, wouldn't surprise me maybe for the last 5 minutes to see the official get a little bit more loose with the whistle, keep things a little bit tighter, and see us into halftime without any cards being shown.
So Samantha looks like she is heading to the sidelines, and she's got her hand on her face, and looks like she suffered a facial injury, and so now it's going to be a moment where Scott Smith has to redesign his team yet again.
Well, and Coach Andrew Barber there asking the assistant referee what the rule is here on a substitution. I think it might be a situation where there's a little bit of blood. Maybe they're going to try to patch her up, get her back out there, or if they have to make a change right away to get her onto the field. And as we can see, Erin getting a gray shirt on, so it looks like she's going to mind the net for the last 5 minutes and 18 seconds here of the first half. And again, hopefully you can get your starting goalkeeper back to start the second half and get Erin back into the center of defense.
So Samantha Haug, the starting goalkeeper for Chandler Gilbert, on the sidelines after sustaining a facial injury. She's being worked on with the trainer, and the good thing is she didn't walk off on her own accord. She's being looked at, and hopefully she can come back for the second half. And now it's Erin Holt, and Erin, trial under fire just a couple games ago, and now she'll have to do it yet again, and now the dynamic changes. And if you're Erin, this is the last thing you were hoping you were going to do on a Saturday. But what's her mindset this last 5:18, trying to get the team to halftime, and hopefully, if the soccer gods permit, having Samantha come back for the second frame.
I'm barking at my central midfielders to block any and every shot that may come. You know, close down space, don't allow anything. Again, with any shot being taken into the wind, it's going to hang up there. It's going to possibly even rise up and you know, be high, find potentially the top half of the goal. So I'm yelling at my teammates to get in front of shots, block any and everything that might get played over the top and through, and see the last 5:18 out, get into halftime 0-0. And again, hope your starter allows you to get back into a center back spot where you're used to. But again, don't think or leave behind the thought rather of sneaking a goal in here yourself. Again, it's 0-0. You've had the advantage. You've had a lot of the momentum early on here. Arguably the best chance of the game, just clipping the outside of the post from Allie Davis about 17, 18 minutes into the match. So ultimately you feel like you could be up 1-0, and sneaking one in here in the last 5 would make you feel a whole heck of a lot better going into the second 45.
So Erin Holt now between the pipes as we are back underway, and Jessica Barney trying to get the ball back. Granus shoots it up the field. Faith Reyna, who's playing on sheer will. She's battling a little bit of a back injury, and she's out there, and she's a fighter. She's a feisty one who gives 150%, so she's cutting this one out for her team. I applaud her and her efforts.
Absolutely. You saw her play an outside back last home match here a week and a half ago, and now she's being deployed in a central attacking midfield position. I think, again, ultimately she's quick, pretty skilled on the ball. They want to see things find her feet and try to play through her and in springing her attackers in behind. So it'll be interesting to see if she can get on the ball and create some opportunities for her forwards.
Jessica Barney in a tangle on that sidelines with Solaris Graves. 4 and change left in this first half. We've had several players tumble on the turf. We've had a non-stop wind gust, and now the starting goaltender for Chandler Gilbert, Samantha Haug, is now on the sidelines with a facial injury. And Erin Holt moves from center back to between the pipes.
Well, and there again, you see just a hopeful ball in behind, not a lot of intent to it, no one really on the end of it, or a clear purpose or position where you wanted that ball to be, or someone there for it. Again, I'd love to see a little bit more effort with intent there for a ball in behind again, especially with the sweeper who's just sitting back there waiting for it.
And that being said, And you kind of alluded to it. When a pass is shot downfield, it seems like we're seeing some stagnant movement. Nobody's going to the ball, and now Aaron Holt bring that in. So winding down, 3 minutes left. Scott Smith on his team. And he's frustrated. He's frustrated with the physicality, lack of calls, and feels that his team is not executing what they've been taught. And Bryce, you've been there. You teach, you work, you teach, you work, and when you don't see your personnel, your players not do what they're told, how frustrating is that?
Well, and it's one of those things where, again, you feel for Coach Smith and what ultimately he's trying to do. A lot of the orders we've been hearing him bark have been to find some feet in the middle of the field, and I don't think we've seen but maybe 1 or 2 passes played through their central midfield players in order to try to spring a forward in behind. And the couple of times that we have seen it, there have been some half chances that have been created. So yeah, absolutely, you want to see a little bit more of your players sticking to the game plan rather than taking maybe what's easy and just trying to play a long one versus trying to work a little harder off the ball and find it, because again, in the long run, working harder off of it does make it easier when you do have it. So,
and it looked like just for a split second, Solaris Graves had a little space. Looked like she was going to put a shot on Aaron Holt, and it worked in Chandler Gilbert's favor that it didn't turn out like that. So they've got trying to clear this last $1:45 and get to the half and reassess their goalkeeper situation. Allie Davis trying to turn the corner, and Covarrubias, a stout little defender, denying her to the sidelines.
Now again, they want to spring Allie Davis 1v1 here on this wing. They'd like to try to get her into space, isolated. Wasn't able to find that on that instance, but again, that's definitely someone with her pace. You want to try to be good there as far as getting her in behind.
Ball trickles out of bounds. A little over 1 minute left in this first half. Barney on the throw-in to Gemma Larson. Knocked away, and the Aztecs will try to capitalize with 54 seconds left in this first frame. Scoreless from Chandler Gilbert as the sun begins to set here in the Southeast Valley.
Say the sun behind the trees now. We can take our shades off and see the field a little bit more clearly now at this point.
People don't understand that from our vantage point, the sun is blaring right at us.
Oh, missed opportunity there. They had numbers up 4v4, but an errant pass kills another attack. Again, you'd like to see some of the simple things being done there a little bit more successfully, trying to make life easy on yourself there.
16 seconds left. Cadence Turner on the throw-in. Uriel Burrell, who's been a big factor in this first half. And now the clock is being winded down by Russ Luce, the AD, and that is going to do it for the first half. A first half where Chandler Gilbert really brought the effort, the energy. Allie Davis with an opportunity that just went wide at the crossbar, and on the other side, the Aztecs they've had some loose chances. Nothing really put a scare into the back end, but the big scare is Samantha Haug, the goalkeeper, still being attended to on the sidelines after taking a shot in the face on a save attempt. But the Coyotes, they made it to the half. Adriana Pacheco, the goalkeeper for Pima, hasn't really been tested as she walks off with a big smile on her face. And so now we're in halftime for Chandler Gilbert, a team that has lost 3 in a row. And Bryce, they have to be feeling good to be in a position 0-0 at the half, and with each passing second growing in confidence.
No, absolutely. You have to think again. Ultimately, they knew they had the win. They know they had a little bit of momentum, but ultimately, if you're Coach Scott Smith and staff here, you're saying, hey, look, we had the better of the first half. We even created a couple of half chances. Maybe we were unlucky not to get one, but at the end of the day, we were arguably very easily the better team in that first half. play a little bit more simple now going into the win. Don't necessarily look for the ball over the top every time, and try to create some opportunities with movement off of it, as opposed to, trying to hit the home run every time. And it'll be interesting to see if there's any change tactically for the Coyotes up front with the sweeper. Ultimately, the Aztecs deploying that defender about 15 yards behind their back three. It could work to the Coyotes' favor. Obviously, anything played up in the air over the top is actually going to die and potentially soften up in front of her and make it a little bit more difficult for her to read the ball out of the air. But again, a little bit cleaner passes on the ground might be the more effective move going forward.
Since we are at the half, coming up after this one is the men's game, as the Coyotes take on the Pima squad that is nationally ranked, top 5, settle in at number 4, playing great soccer. And Bryce, kind of give us a viewpoint of what has to happen to try to slow down the Aztecs and pull off a victory.
Oh, absolutely. We've talked all week to the boys around, they are who they are, and frankly, we don't care who they are, right? We know what our challenge is in front of us with 5 matches left. We need to get 3 wins out of the last 5, and it starts tonight with 1, right? And you can start a streak by getting the first one, and that's kind of been the message all week of, hey, we work hard enough for large enough stretches of games, but it's got to be a full 90, it's got to be a complete 90, and from a tactical standpoint, it's, hey, understand your job, understand your role. Again, they're a great team. They have been for a long time. Nothing's changed there after, visiting Tucson and falling 5-2 in our second game of the season. But again, even in that one, there were a lot of moments of vulnerability from Pima where, it was 5-2, could have been 5-3, 5-4, right? So the boys know what it takes to compete at a high level against this squad. It's just a matter of, again, being able to do it for a full 90 and committing to what it is that you're responsible for in your spot.
Not that I want to belabor the point on the physicality in this first half, but if the referees are calling it loose and you see Scott and his coaching staff complaining about several calls, what does that do to the mindset? If Chandler Gilbert is seeing calls not go their way, what do you say to their players? Do they have to increase their physicality, knowing that they might be able to get away with, I'm not saying dirty play, but more physical style play?
Well, it's one of two things, obviously. There's players that are maybe built a little bit more for that, and if you are one of those players, a bit more of a big body, right? Yeah, absolutely. You say, hey, get stuck in. If you're a smaller player, more of a quick player with some style and some speed and some finesse, the response there is get the ball to your feet, get off the dang thing, and then move again, right? You can't really get hit if you play the ball quickly and then you're moving in behind with your next run, right? The bigger players are just going to be chasing you at that point. So again, for me as a coach, my typical kind of go-to with players there is if you get off the dadgum thing, you're never going to get hit.
There you go. So that's going to be coming up shortly after this one. We have a whole half of soccer yet to come. Samantha Hogue has got some ice on her lip. Hopefully she is able to go. Taylor Brown also not playing in this one. Lower body injury. Aaron Holt, who started this game at center back, might have to put the rally cap on and needs to stay between the pipes for the second half. And that being said, Bryce, if she has to go the whole second half, tactically for Scott and for Aaron, the mindset going forward, trying to protect her and maybe squeak out a goal and maybe win this one potentially 1-0.
No, again, it's organization in the back, right? Again, the Aztecs haven't been able to create anything naturally on their own. The only 1 or 2, maybe half chances that have been from Coyote turnovers that have turned into counterattacks the other way. So if I'm Coach Smith, again, the words of wisdom I'm giving my team are 2 things. A, keep the ball, work harder to find simple passes, and keep possession, right? Because again, counterattacks don't happen if you don't give away possession of the ball. And number 2, it's limit space from their attackers in the final third. Be tight to their forwards and don't allow anything to be hit, because again, the wind is going to be at the Aztecs back here in the second half. So You don't want to give up anything easy, anything cheap, especially with someone who's not traditionally a goalkeeper playing in net. Ball struck high and hard with the wind behind her is going to be difficult to make saves on. So do her a favor, stay tight to your strikers. Do not allow anything cheap or easy to be just hit hopefully towards a goal, because unfortunately with again with not your standard keeper and a lot of wind at the back, it can be dangerous when anything's struck on net.
And we've seen frustration coming from Scott Smith on the tactical side of his offensive unit, not really doing what he's expecting, and he is addressing his team all the way around and wanting them to step up. He's very animated as he's speaking to the young ladies. And you know, what is his message? Look, this team hasn't scored a goal now in 3 matches and a half. And once again, you get to a point where you can't use the lack of personnel, who's in and who's out, as an excuse. The team is, it is what it is at this point. What is his message to his offensive unit to create chances and stick one in the net?
Well, he's definitely pointed out the sweeper stopper formation that you and I have talked about here throughout the first half, and making sure that his forwards identify the fact that ultimately those long balls hit over the top aren't going to be as successful due to the striker or the sweeper rather being there waiting to pick the ball off from the striker. So again, he's talking to them around finding their forwards' feet rather than trying to get in behind with big balls over the top. Again, the big thing for me and a player that I really want to see something from here in the second half is number 77. Right, Faith has been deployed typically on either right back or left back. Again, plenty of pace, plenty of quickness, good touch, good ability from her. But again, if they're able to find balls to feet in that attacking central midfield area, there have been plenty of space to operate, and then force that sweeper to have to defend the ball rather than just waiting for something to be picked off over the top. If that's the case, and you force her up, passes to your wingers then open very easily, because when she's deeper, you're going to hold your wingers onside. So again, balls into central midfield, force her to have to step up, defend, and then you can play balls in behind to your wingers, who are going to be running free with ultimately a free pass. Can't be offside with that player but that far back, and hopefully again a couple good crosses, and just takes one.
And you talk about just taking one, and how in a game like this that is so tight, look, any given point someone can step up and be the hero for Chandler Gilbert. It could be anyone, and for this roster, a team that's yearning for a win, look, a team that's yearning for a goal, to feel that sensation, you got to figure, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone's going to be 150 miles an hour right now with the second frame about 70 seconds away, and to go all out to give themselves a chance in this one, and walk away knowing that they gave every ounce of energy to try to win this.
No, yeah, and again, when sometimes again we saw the shot from Allie Davis that kissed the outside of the post, that I think the 80-90% of the faithful here at Coyote Field thought it was fine in the net. Ultimately, you can get a little hard on yourself around, like, okay, when are we going to finally get one? And when that's the case, I look to set pieces, right? Again, they want to possess the ball a little bit more. Again, we've kind of heard Coach Smith talking about that already here at halftime, but set pieces are a great way to maybe get a greasy goal, as they say, right? Something that just gets played into the box and maybe pinballs around, but then finds the net. And again, it takes one, and then there's the collective exhale as a unit where you go, oh, all right, we can do this. We know what we're doing. We're more than capable, as these ladies are, right? And then, maybe a second and a third can come shortly thereafter. So, you have to sell out for the shutout, right? You have to sell out for, to defend here and make sure that that you don't give up anything cheap or anything easy. But again, with the wind and with what we've seen from both teams in the back, it's probably not going to be a pretty goal tonight. It's going to be something maybe a little ugly, but ultimately, if it bulges the old onion bag, there's no pictures on the box score at the end of the game.
Absolutely. Coyotes just need some kind of positivity to stick one in and steal one from this Pima team that's riding a 3-game winning streak. Some good vibes on campus today as the girls volleyball team almost knocked off top-ranked, I think that's second-ranked Scottsdale last night. Lost in 5 sets. They bounced back today with a 3-set victory over Pima. They're taking on Mesa as we speak, right over at the Coyotes Center. And they've got a great team led by their middle blocker, Kenny Dalstrup, who's playing fantastic. And that's a team that feels they are catching fire at just the right time. So if we can get an update through the course of this match or in between the ladies and the men's, we'll bring that to you. And now we're getting ready to start this second frame. And now it's Aaron Holt remains on the field. The goalkeeper, and moving over to center back is number 16, and that is Ashley Farr, freshman from Mountain Crest. So usually she plays on the sides, and for Ashley, now moves to center back. The responsibilities, Bryce, break it down. How much more is the weight of the world on her defensive shoulders?
Well, again, you have to check both shoulders a lot more frequently there, obviously in the middle with attackers coming from either side. Obviously, if you play an outside back, it's a little easier to maybe just, you know, pick your head up and look for one area as opposed to having to use your eyes to find both sides. But ultimately, again, when you've got a center back behind you in goal, hopefully you'll hear a little bit of communication, a little bit of extra information given to you. But again, ultimately, as a center back, it's your job to organize the wing backs. It's your job to organize the midfield in front of you. And again, she is a vocal player. You know, it's not something that's going to come at a disadvantage to her. She knows how to communicate well with her teammates, and ultimately, you know, do your job, right? If you can hold down the middle of the field, allow other players to fill in and do what they are supposed to do. Just take care of yourself and what you need, and you know, again, you should see the Coyotes hopefully squeak one out here.
Coyotes trying to put the pressure on the Aztecs. As you hear the Aztecs bench pleading to their squad to step up the intensity.
First time we've heard any vocalization from that side. It was a rather calm first half for them. Either that or we couldn't hear it over the wind.
No question. Chandler Gilbert, they've got plenty of motivation at home. They've lost 3 straight. They've just lost their starting goalkeeper to a injury. Now Aaron Holt moves from center back in between the pipes. A team so desperate for a win. A team that's gone through the ER situation over and over again. Cadence Turner working that sidelines in a battle with Bailey Ferguson.
Well, I talked about, you know, Faith Lucky at halftime. She's already found the ball twice here within the first 2 minutes of the second half. So again, you love to see your central midfield players getting on the ball, trying to dictate play a little bit, put the game into areas where they want it. So again, good initial start here from the Lady Coyotes.
Kenzie Welsh also in the game for the Coyotes. She's seen limited action, but because of the injury to Samantha and Aaron Holt moving. But you gotta like the way this half has started with the Coyotes working the ball in the attacking third and putting pressure on Pima. And the best part about it, look, they're going into the win and it controlled the tempo.
Oh, absolutely. And again, it's been a lot of balls that are, again, less hit and hope, a lot more intent behind them. And again, that's where you'll find a lot more success in possession and ultimately take a little bit of pressure off your back four.
This time coming up that right side and looked like might have had a free opportunity for Bailey Ferguson, who was jetting up that right side, but a little too long as it trickled out of bounds.
Again, the wind helping that one. Fine touch there as, again, little over hit, which is easy to do when you have the wind behind you, but
Allie Davis. Kenzie Walsh. Now a little physicality right there between Allie Davis and Ariel Sanchez Hermosillo.
Again, we talked about it earlier. The official allowing a lot to go there. That was maybe one where you'd have expected a whistle, but to be fair, it's at least been consistent that way the entire match, where you know, players have been allowed to get a little physical and you know, bump a little bit. You know, it is a contact sport. it's not track and field.
And Burrell once again on that center back position for the Aztecs, denying Cheyenne Crapo, and Burrell has been a great quarterback of that defense, coming up and really surveying the field well and denying the Coyotes in several opportunities. Now they control the ball in midfield, and Faith tries to push up that right side, and once again Burrell comes up and hard charging from the center back position and working that left side. Cadence Turner shoots it up the field. Allie Davis. And that pass might have been out of Allie's reach, and that's coming up that right side, and Aaron will track it in and scoop it up.
Well, and as a goalkeeper, again, when you know you're against the wind there, you know that the ball's going to run long, and oftentimes, again, strikers aren't going to be able to find it.
So the Coyotes get the call as Quesada and the side judge make the call in favor. Cadence Turner on the throw-in.
You saw the AR put his non-flag hand pointing the Coyotes' way, as if to say, typically as an assistant referee, if you're not sure but you think you know, you take your non-flag hand and you put it across your belly the direction that you think it's going. That way you're not just waving it out there and having your central referee call you off the other way. So the two looked like they were able to come together and make the right decision there.
And Burrell once again coming up, showing that explosive speed, and it looked like Crapo might be able to turn the corner, and now Burrell working the ball up the field. Burrell tries to center it across, and Varney knocks it away.
The first 52 minutes of the match here definitely been the player of the game so far. Again, the Coyotes have been very intent with hitting the ball over the top, trying to find it long early, and she's again been up to the task of finding those balls, controlling them, and distributing out at the back, and that time maybe got a little tired of her midfield making an errant pass and decided to take it herself.
And maybe for Uriah Burrell, who has played an excellent match, at some point, if you're a great player as she is and has displayed in this one, a header that will trickle wide, at some point in a game like this, a player of her magnitude, do you give them the freedom? Does Kendra Feliz, the head coach of Pima, trust her enough to say, if you got to take control in certain situations, set up your offense, do so?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was apparent there. There was little thought about giving it away until it was in the attacking third for a cross. So, I'm sure as the game wears on and as space opens up in front of her, I would not be surprised to see her go ahead and try to dribble a little further up the field, get a little bit more adventurous. But ultimately, again, with the wind and a lot of the momentum playing downhill in the Aztecs' favor, I'd expect her to pick and choose when that might be the case and the time to do it.
8 minutes into this second half, we are still scoreless. Last time these two teams met last year, with Pima winning 2-0. Chandler Gilbert playing another tied affair. A team battling injuries, a team now with its starting goaltender out due to a face injury, on the sidelines watching. Wind, a tremendous factor in this one. Throw in. Cadence Turner tries to work it up and right into Bailey Ferguson.
We had a bit of a reprieve from the wind there for about 5-10 minutes, but unfortunately it was during the halftime break, and now it's back to whipping as it was earlier. So again, when it's at your back, you love it. When it's in your face here like this, you'd love it if it would maybe teeter off a little bit, step off the gas with it.
36 minutes left in this one. Opportunities on both sides have been limited. Now the Aztecs trying to apply some pressure, maybe steal a goal in the second half. Knocked across. Corinne Noose knocks it away.
Yeah, well read there.
Megan Castle trying to work the ball back up the field in a sideline battle. Dumped back down by the Aztecs. Trying to get it up to the attacking third. And Aaron Holt comes up, and maybe that's a moment right there that Billy Ferguson was watching the game instead of playing it. That ball was in the air and she stood pat instead of going after it.
Yeah, anytime you're the weak side winger there, if you see a player on the ball pick their head up, it usually means it's coming across and you need to make a run there to the back post, and it was there to be had. It was there to be had.
Burrell once again flying up the field right into Aaron Holt.
Now the difference we see here in the second half, obviously the Coyotes playing with a traditional back four, flat back through the middle of the back four. Anything that's going to be hit over the top, if it's too much for the strikers, it's just going to run to the goalkeeper, versus when the Coyotes attempted the same thing, there was a sweeper back there to get it to her feet. So we'll see how Erin does coming off of her line to collect some of those passes that are played over the top that are hitting a little bit long.
So a battle on that sideline. Trying to turn the corner. Corinne Noose showing some physicality. Knocked across, and that's going to go behind the goal, and the Coyotes will reset.
Again, good example. We talked about it at halftime, right? Good example there of, you know, hey, if you're gonna be allowed to play a little bit, body up a little bit. Good job there, noticing, hey, look, this attacker's getting ready to whip across in. A little bit of contact early as she's getting ready to plant. Knock her off balance, and it was ultimately a poor cross that ended up for a goal kick.
Massive substitutions coming in for the Aztecs. Camila Rascon, as well as Gabby Amparano, Lizzie Walker, and Kylie Oliver. And that is the firepower of this team. Rascon leads the team with 5 goals. And Zach Camp, the men's squad, now here. The Aztecs men's team on the other side of the field. The men will knock things going at about 7:30. And yes, the wind is a major factor, not letting up. This feels like kind of like a day in the White Mountains, which is like typical weather there. They've got wind every single day. Allie Davis, left side. Pacheco with the easy opportunity.
Yeah, a little ambitious there. You saw Allie turn her defender. She had her beat, elected to try to whip something in early. Would maybe love to see her stay on her feet there and try to take another touch. She's in behind the defender there. She's got the pace to beat the right back. I'd love it if she could maybe stay up, take another touch, and have a go there. Force the sweeper out of the back, and then there's plenty of space in the middle for a cross at that point, but maybe a little early.
Hey! That's twice in a row!
Now Scott Smith has another Coyotes down, and we can't see. Our vantage point is blocked by the 4 Aztecs about to check in.
Yeah, resembling a hockey line change here.
And the line that's about to go in for the Aztecs are their leading scorers, so there is some serious firepower about to go in for the Aztecs. So as we close in to about 31 minutes left in this contest. And so far, the Chandler Gilbert team holding its own in this second frame. Allie Davis coming to the sidelines.
Getting a little instruction here from Coach Smith. Again, I think, you know, maybe saying a little bit of something that you and I just talked about, where, hey, calm down, find feet, relax a little bit. get forward together as a unit, because again, there's been chances to be had here. It's just been maybe a little rushed, a little panicked.
And that being said, the team maybe, how do they handle that duress? Because with each scoreless second that continues to go by, they fight the frustration of trying to score and be so anxious to score. Yet again, they've got to balance that with the need to stay poised on the attack.
No, yeah, absolutely. You can't rush anything. You can't take anything for granted. It's just more of a just breathe a little, relax a little, allow the game to happen a bit. Be ready and attack when it's presented to you, but don't overdo it. Don't play out of your scope there.
Gotta love what Gemma Larson did. Knocked it off the forward of the Aztecs, so gives the Coyotes an opportunity. Right off Samantha Michael.
I don't know if something Coach Smith has talked about with him, but maybe wouldn't mind seeing her play it short here, just take a touch and then, you know, have 5, 10, 15 yards before she has to play it long. The Aztecs backing way off on the goal kick. You'd maybe like to see her take advantage of all that space and play it up higher up the pitch.
Cheyenne Crappel in a battle with Annalie Oropesa. Now it's Uriah Burrell, who's been phenomenal in this one.
Well, and she's not just been good finding balls over the top. She's actually been able to take passes back from her other defenders when they've won balls that have been played over.
That shot is up and over the goalpost. A quality rip by the Aztecs. And we'll give you a number as I track it down.
Number 15, Kylie Oliver, I believe, just checked into the ball game a few minutes ago.
Kylie Oliver, and she is one of the team's leading scorers.
But again, given the wind and everything there, just have a hit. If you can put something on target, it's going to move. And we saw that there, a little too much on it, a couple yards over the crossbar. But again, when you're attacking downwind, you love to see that as a coach.
Oliver with 3 goals on the year, put a scare into Aaron Holt. And the last thing you want after that nice blistering shot is to give her too much space. We talked about it. This Aztecs team is dangerous in space, and right now, Coyotes can't afford to give up any real estate whatsoever. They've been in this one because they've played tight defensively, and the Aztecs, when they've been a little loose, haven't been able to capitalize. And those shots have been few and far apart. Now a shot, another one, that's ripped over. So back-to-back shots. This time, it's number 4. It's Gabby Amparano.
A little bit of a sloppy clearance there out of the back. You'd love to see your center back. Hey, if it's going to be big, if we don't have a name on it, as we'll say, coaching-wise, if you don't put a name on it, you don't know where it's going to go. Big, up and out and away.
And that's kind of what we talked about when you make the change, moving Aaron Holt into goalkeeper. You make the change at center back with Ashley Farr in that middle. Emily Greska now in the game. Number 2, Cheyenne. Allie Davis tries to get an open field, and that should get the yellow card right there. Number 12, and that is Samantha Michael. She put her leg out. She tripped her, and they don't get the call. I mean, look, maybe it was inadvertent, okay, but the bottom line, the leg did come out and it did trip her from behind. Now, Bryce, you played soccer. You've seen the game. You've called the game. You coach. If you're a ref, is that a yellow card?
More times than not. More times than not. Again, he's been a bit, we'll say, conservative with the amount of times he's blown the whistle. So, to be honest, again, could it have been a card? Yes. Should it have been a card? Also, probably yes. Am I surprised it wasn't? No. That's what we've seen from him today.
Okay, because of the way the game has been called so far.
Yeah.
So at that point, and now the Chandler Gilbert side has been the unfortunate ones of non-calls. Do they have to step up the physicality, feeling that, look, they can get away with, and once again, I'm not saying dirty play, but extra physical play to put more bodies on bodies for increase contact if need be.
I mean, again, as a coach, I'm not telling anybody to shy away from a tackle. But again, if you get sucked into that game a little bit, sometimes you can get pulled a little bit away from what you're trying to do, which can lead to mistakes. So you don't want to maybe, turn the dial too far that direction. But at least I can tell you, as a player in some of these more loosely called games, I didn't mind it because that just gave a little bit more liberty to mix things up a bit yourself.
Sure.
But again, some players, again, they're built for that. They're a type of player that embraces it. And then there's, again, there's some players where, again, more of a speed and finesse game.
And now we have another player down for the Coyotes, and I'll give you a number as we're. And that is Jessica Varney, the all-out freshman defender, lying on the turf. And now she's being looked at by an assistant. So a lot of Chandler Gilbert contact, and they've been on the beneficiaries of lying on the turf. And now we've got looks like a timeout in the field where both sides will come over. Now Russ Luce, the great athletic director of Chandler Gilbert, will go out and check the status of Jessica Varney. So physicality, yes, we've had it in this one. Potential yellow card, yes.
Once or twice.
And now if you're Scott Smith, you're trying to maintain your cool. I think Scott's doing a good job with that, trying to stay in the moment and be a leader for his team. Because look, the last thing you can do, Bryce, is let the emotions make you lose your mental focus, and your team all of a sudden loses its focus because they're focused on what just happened instead of what could happen.
No, absolutely. Again, sometimes as a player, if the physicality is being allowed a little bit, if you turn the dial a little too far and maybe you go into a tackle when you'd be late and it's maybe one where we want to stand somebody up, you go in for a tackle, the ball's in behind you, and now you've made a mistake that could let something go in behind you. So again, you want to play physical, you want to play strong, but ultimately ratchet it up maybe one or two notches, but nothing too far, because ultimately, again, the Lady Coyotes have had the better of the chances. They've had the better possession. Again, neither team has really moved it into the other's attacking third with any real continuity, but the one or two times we've seen it, it's been the ladies in white. And so you want them to again, play simple, play smart, and again, if you're going to get contact, know it's coming, be ready for it. Again, if you get off the ball quickly, you can make a pass and then move on before it comes, and then ultimately, again, maybe use a little bit of that aggression to your advantage to make a pass and get in behind.
And each refereeing crew is going to be different from each crew. Now, this crew is playing it loose. Now, in the men's game, that when you played Yavapai, that crew, I thought there was some physicality that was extensive, that was allowed on the field, that should not have, and I think they should have controlled the game a little bit more. We saw that with a couple Yavapai players, and needs to say some of it was very questionable in the course of good sportsmanship. But we go back to this one with a corner kick opportunity for the Aztecs, and instead of trying to punch it, and that one is high and wide, a good kick and a good look by Gabby Amparano, the midfielder, had a good look at the net and just shot it over the goalpost.
Yeah, that's one you'd expect a little bit more from her there. Again, top of the 18, not a whole lot of pressure, nothing really in front of her. You'd expect someone of her level and ability to put at least on frame, make the goalkeeper make a save. But again, if you're the Coyotes, deep exhale, whew, bullet dodged. On we go.
Bullet is dodged, but the Aztecs will maintain possession. Throw in. And doing the duties is Cassandra Vasquez from Anthony, New Mexico. So Pima showing it's going across the borders and going in different zip codes to bring talent to the program. Quick throw in by the Aztecs. No hesitation on that sidelines. Allie Davis putting up a fight. Now crossing pass in the middle. Gruska clears it out, works it to the right side. Megan Castle tracks it down. Castle coming up the field. Now Castleby gets a little bit of an elbow right to her left side by Navia Covarrubias. So yes, this refereeing crew letting him play.
Yeah, and you feel coming out of that that little injury break there, Pima maybe with a little bit of momentum controlling the game after these these last couple minutes. If you're the Coyotes, you'd love to see them try to own a little possession and get the ball in behind, and oof, nearly found one there. Again, finally found the sweeper out of position because of a couple passes that were made to feed first rather than just banging it in behind, and nearly found their way through there.
If that pass is 5 feet in front of Allie Davis, she's going to have a one-on-one opportunity because Burrell was out of place for the, as you mentioned, for the very first time in this contest. She was in the midfield area, and Cheyenne Crapo is about to check in.
Getting some final instructions here from Coach Smith.
Cheyenne listening to us and giving us a big smile as she's about to check in. Now, Cheyenne, it's your job to put a goal on the board, okay? Cheyenne, a bright young kid from Eastmark, had a great season last year, 35 goals there. And Cadence Turner, now more physicality and turning the corner on that right side. Knocked away.
Not quite sure how that one wasn't a whistle.
So once again, the Coyotes, this time it's Cadence Turner taking a tumble. So it looks like a corner kick opportunity, and that's going to be Ariela Sanchez Hermosillo. Wind is blowing. And this one just knocked on the ground, set up. Coyotes trying to clear it, and that one is shot over the goalpost.
Yeah, that looked like a set play there. Easy ball into the front post, hoping the defenders are kind of caught ball watching, and you have a couple of attackers at the top of the 18 waiting for a pass laid back to strike. Well defended there, didn't necessarily fall for it. There were plenty of white shirts in the middle not marking, as it obviously looks here like they're going into a zonal mark on the corner kick, but they sprung out to the free blue shirts quickly and were able to block.
And Hermosillo, this one shot, and that is incredible save by Aaron Holt. Holt, the diving save, and that one was on its way.
You hear Coach Smith yelling at him to step out. Again, they're in a zonal mark inside their own 6, but you've got 4 unmarked blue shirts at the top of the 18. Coach Smith wants them to mark up tighter to not allow for that exact thing right there.
And another shot, but Aaron Holt with the save in this one. And Scott Smith and the coaching staff pleading with the personnel to get in the proper position.
A lot of high fives there for Cadence Turner on the corner kick. I wonder if that was a save from Holt or if Turner headed that one off the line. Either way, another bullet dodged.
Let's give props to both players. We don't have the benefits of
where's the instant replay button?
Replay, and we can't check in with New York for another look.
Yeah, VAR is not on campus here yet. No video assisted replay for us, unfortunately.
Absolutely, and just like the World Cup for the women, they had that. We don't have that luxury here. We can't go to New York. We can't go to another committee.
We'll have to ask Coach Russ after the match. You know how long or how far out we are from getting the video replay here on campus.
That one is shot wide, and by that reaction, Russ says it might be a while.
Not tomorrow, I think is what he said. Not tomorrow.
Somewhere in the next decade, potentially. But knowing Russ and the way he cares about the program and trying to provide the best visuals and audio for the benefits of his athletic programs, you know, that'll be in the budget somewhere in the near future.
Oh, absolutely. One of the best in the business.
Jessica Varney about to check back in, and that's a great sight. Jessica took a tumble early in this second half, and she's about to go back out. Fierce competitor, fierce defender. Grand News shoots it, and you can tell the wind blowing and keeping that one very close. Aztecs trying to get in the middle. Emily Greska trying to work it. Up to Allie Davis. Allie controls it on the back end. Got some physicality on that sidelines. That time, very clean. Coming with the body was Camille Rascon. And what Camille did right there, look, she's just putting a body on a body. It wasn't anything. It wasn't a fierce forearm. It wasn't a leg thrown out. It wasn't anything malice. It was just hard physical contact, legal in the guys in the course of the game.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what you coach, right? Separate the player from the ball. We always joke with defenders, right? Two things can get by you: the player and the ball, never both. Separate one from the other, get in between it, win it, and then get off it and get it back.
Gemma Larson checking out, catching a breath of fresh air. Looks like she's a little out of breath. Greska trying to work the ball up the field to hit her. Megan Castle, Hemosia dumps it down, and right now this one's heading our way, and that one, extra point is no good. Wide right. So we are still scoreless.
Coach Russ making an athletic play on the ball there, out of that chair in about 0.27 seconds. You'd love to see it.
Russ, a former baseball coach in his time, and a mighty fine one, if we must say. Racing up that right side. Megan Holt. And Uriel Burrell once again making an impact. And you'd like to see Chandler Gilbert here. They've been on their heels defensively in the last 5-6 minutes and kind of turn the tide a little bit and now put some pressure back on the Aztecs and make them think and work a little bit in the course of this one.
Absolutely, and again, it's going to come from playing the ball on the ground, finding feet, not getting panicked, not just hitting balls long, but rather trying to be a little bit more intent with the play.
Great move by Faith Reyna. Back to Allie Davis. Morales, shot is up, and Faith shoots it wide, but a great sequence right there. Short passes, and Reyna shoots it. And that sand is blowing in a big way.
Yes. Speaking of Coach Russ being a former baseball coach, the diamond is now here on our notepads.
Yeah. I feel first base, and it tastes like home plate.
Exactly.
But we play on. A good one between the Coyotes and the Aztecs. Chandler Gilbert hasn't won since beating South Mountain earlier this month, 7-1, and the Aztecs have won 3 straight, coming off a 7-1 victory. They come in here with confidence, and Chandler Gilbert holding its own without a roster that's fully healthy. Instead of finding excuses, Chandler Gilbert's trying to find some answers.
Well, and that's a great play there by the left back. She made a mistake maybe a little bit, not letting the ball run out for a throw-in. Kicked it out, allowed for an Aztec throw, but again, able to separate her player from the ball, win it, and earned a foul going the other way. So made up for an earlier small mistake.
Camila Rascon in a battle with Cadence Turner. Now the ball trickles to the left side. Coming up far. And a whistle blows.
Yeah, a little tackle late there, trying to win the ball, not allow for the clearance, and a rare whistle.
Yeah. The whistles have been so rare, you wondered if they actually had them and if they actually worked. So we know they do. Not to be sarcastic in any shape or form in this one, Bryce.
Not at all. Not at all.
You know, the thing about it is there have been some calls that make you shake your head. And look, every as we've touched on, every refereeing staff is different, and they're calling it the way they see it.
Again,
But there have been some blatant calls, and this one missed.
Yeah, and again, as a player, you take note of the kind of game that it's going to be, and you play to it.
And that being said, Bryce, for his coaching staff, when you see a refereeing crew and you see the way they call a game and you get them again, does that kind of tailor your style to?
Absolutely.
And Aaron Holtz right there, denying Oliver. Oliver had a breakaway for a split second, came up with the header, and Aaron came up and read it like a champ and secured it.
Yeah, well done coming off of her line there and understanding that forward didn't have possession of the ball. It was just kind of more something that was hit and hoped, and she was trying to knot it onto herself to get in behind her defender there. Again, Holt, a former center back, kind of understood what was in front of her, came out, makes an easy scoop. Again, lot easier to make that play than it is to sit on your line and wait for a shot. So well defended there.
Faith Reyna punching it to the right side. So the Aztecs, as Gemma Larson's about to check back in. Gemma just had to catch a breath. Ball knocked to the left side over the goal. And you got to wonder right now if Chandler Gilbert has enough to hold off the Aztecs. The Aztecs have controlled the game in the last 15 minutes or so. They put pressure on. Give credit to either Cadence Turner or Aaron Holt, and a great save between the pipes is one of the two. We don't have VAR. We have our eyesight. And sometimes when you're 50 yards away, that's just not good enough.
No.
So you got to wonder if Chandler Gilbert can find the resiliency and the toughness to hold on these last 12 minutes.
And again, the substitutions made there. You see Gemma moving into central midfield, and as Allie Davis came on, she went over to right wing and called Cheyenne into the central attacking midfield position. Cheyenne has been the Coyotes' best player on the ball when she's found it to her feet. So moving her into central attacking midfield here, let's see if the Coyotes can find her and allow her to maybe create a little bit of space for the rest of her teammates.
Kylie Oliver with another shot from the outside, right into the steady hands of Aaron Holt. So now the intensity. And Bryce, walk me through what it's like right now in a scoreless game. Two desperate teams, especially Chandler Gilbert. A must-win situation. You're winding down to 11 minutes left. What's it like for the team right now?
It's nothing silly, nothing stupid, right? You want to play simple. You want to play smart. If you're unsure, if you have a pass, it's big every time, up and away, right? Keep it easy, keep it simple, lock down defensively. Ultimately, if you get caught out of position, you'd rather it be behind the ball to defend rather than making a run forward that maybe you can't recover from. Because again, ultimately, yes, you want to get the goal, you want to get a winner, but you don't want to give the one up that has it go 1-0 the wrong direction.
And right now, we're seeing Chandler Gilbert trying to clear the ball through the air, and that's just a mistake. It's just not going to happen. And that's just putting them in harm's way. Kylie Oliver, who's been dangerous with that shot on multiple occasions, try to center it across.
Nifty footwork from her, again beating her mark there on the right wing.
Faith Reyna try to head it. Now it's worked that right side. Megan Castle chasing down Samantha Michael. Shot up front. And that one is punched to the left, just wide. And Chandler Gilbert survives yet again.
Well, and that's that get back that we were talking about a moment ago. Obviously, Megan Steele, the left winger, she's a forward right now, pressuring all the way back there to get behind the ball and try to make that cross more difficult, which she did. So again, good commitment to team defending there, getting back, and ultimately not necessarily saving the day, but making life a little bit harder for the striker, and again, possibly throwing it off just enough to keep it wide.
Camilla Rascone looking for her 6th goal. And just goes wide as that Aztecs bench on its feet was about to explode. Hermosia on the throw-in. Gemma Larson down that sidelines, out of our vantage point. We cannot see that corner. Aztecs bench is right in front of us.
We'll call it enthusiastic bench.
Very enthusiastic bench. And now we have Yuria Burrell. The center back has worked her way to midfield. And if just by chance, if Chandler Gilbert can beat her off the ball, someone race past her, they're going to have an opportunity. Another header. Cheyenne Crapo, nice move, Crapo.
She wanted to play the big one there, and it was there to be had, but good pressure, good close out there in the middle of the field, not giving her enough space to play that ball big over the top.
Aaron Holt brings it in. Charging at her was Lizzie Walker. Walker a little banged up, but Coach Felice said she would play some minutes in this one, and Coach Felice bringing out one of her best offensive players late in this one in crunch time. Walker battling a little bit of an upper body injury.
Here we go with the hockey distinction again.
Absolutely, got to pull out that card when you don't know the exact injury for sure.
Love it.
Gibby Chase in that corner, Jessica Barney, Kylie Oliver. And it's going to be...
Those are one of those little mistakes we just talked about a moment ago. Miscommunication from the midfielder and the outside back there. She wanted to play it back, try to keep possession, but ultimately 7 minutes left. You're not sure, you're under pressure, you don't have a pass forward that you like. Bang it away. Nothing negative. 7 minutes left, no score.
Hermosia, corner kick. And we've seen her just knock the ball on the ground, pass it, and then the Aztecs have centered it from there. This one, right to the side. Body on bodies. And that one knocked away past the goalpost on the left side.
Well defended there. The ball was played on the ground to the near post like you mentioned, but didn't allow the player to turn. Kept her square, nothing easy. Again, you'll live to defend another corner there.
This time, it's pooched in the air. And knocked to the right. Trying to get the putback. Had a good look.
Megan Steele defended well there again. Just get a little bit of the body onto the striker, make it hard for her, or make her life a little bit more difficult. Again, from 10 yards out, that's easy when there's no one on you. But when you're getting a body into your shoulder, makes it a little tougher. Well done there.
Samantha Michelle on the point blank miss. Now Michelle is going to boot it back down to Yuria Burrell, quarterback. That's center back of that attacking back row.
Well, and there's nothing shy about the Coyotes' plans to attack. It's get the ball to Allie Davis any and every time you can. Every single time the ball has been found in midfield. Head is up, it's looking to the right wing. They're trying to get Davis in behind.
This one knocked to the side and wind blown, and the Aztecs quickly throwing it in. Chandler Gilbert just trying to clear it out and give themselves an opportunity. Cheyenne worked up that side of the field. Juanita Morales giving chase. Now it's pooched down the other way. Aztecs now have the wind at their back. They've controlled the tempo, and you got to wonder if Chandler Gilbert right now flirting with danger one too many times.
Yeah, no surprise. The last 5 minutes here, it's going to be big, over the top every time. Both teams not allowing for anything, any mistakes, anything simple. It's pretty simple. Get the ball, get it long.
Allie Davis. Davis being worked on that sideline with Navia Covarrubias. Cheyenne Crapo in on the action. Faith Reyna knocks it up the field. Allie Davis going after it. And a whistle is blown on Covarrubias. Chandler Gilbert.
Definitely one that was a foul there, but hasn't been all day. Maybe one that again, has been let go for the majority of the night, but again, you'll take it.
And I got to be honest, Bryce, that was more of the lighter version compared to what we've seen.
Absolutely, but again, great opportunity here for the Coyotes. Get it over the top of the back four if they can from this distance. Put it into the middle of the box and allow your strikers to try to get onto it and create a little havoc inside the box.
Caden Sterner, 3:48 left, shoots it up the field. Right into Adriana Pacheco. Now Pacheco, winner of the back, boots it up the field, and that was a quality one. Kylie Oliver, Faith Reyna knocks it away. And you got to wonder in that position if Faith, she had some time to square her body up and move it back up the field.
Yeah, that's one where, again, you want to play safe defending, but that was an opportunity maybe to keep possession of the ball and not have to defend right away.
Coyotes putting tight body-on-body contact. Kylie Oliver, too much space. Now they tighten up on her. And the ball knocked out of bounds.
Well, and again, I go back to, we talked about at halftime, right? Sometimes if you're struggling offensively, set pieces where they come from. That was a great delivery on the ball into the box, landing right on the penalty spot. As a striker, you just got to get something on it there, whether it's a knee, whether it's a shoulder, your face, doesn't matter. Get something on the ball there, and it's past the keeper. Stuck defending now.
Hermosillo in the corner, point blank. And that one knocked away. Chandler Gilbert survives point blank. And now they try to clear it out. And the coaching staff of Chandler Gilbert pleading to their kids to keep working with 2 and change left. Now a whistle once again against the Aztecs.
And again, for the Coyotes, a little time to breathe there. Relax. They dodge another bullet. That's the third one of the half that maybe could have gone differently. Take a deep breath. 120 seconds to try to win it here.
Anything can happen. But standing in their way is Uriah Burrell, the center back, as well as Adriana Pacheco, one of the best goalkeepers, ranked 4th in the league in save percentage. And once again, the Aztecs, Kylie Oliver racing up that left side. Oliver tries to shoot it across. Aztecs trying to keep it alive. Time winding down and knocked out of bounds. With $1:25 left, another corner kick opportunity.
And again, if I'm the coach for the Aztecs here, I'm throwing Uriah Burrell in the box here. There's a minute left. You're not going to get countered for a goal. I'm throwing my best player in the box.
Hermosillo shoots that one over the goal, so Chandler Gilbert has a minute to kill. If anything, they'll leave this one with a tie. And with a miracle, they'll punch one in and steal this one in the final seconds.
And again, assistant coach Meskel there telling all of his central midfield players to get into the middle of the field and just congest it so that when this ball is played away that you know you're going to be the one to win it.
Cheyenne Crapo. Wow.
Again, one that yes, I would probably agree is a foul, but hasn't been called all night. He gives it. And again, this is in an incredibly dangerous area and wasted.
Compared to what we've seen, that call right there, that's mind-blowing. Compared to what we've seen.
Well,
now maybe Cheyenne, look, you got a better advantage. I didn't catch the elbow potentially that she might have
a little
thrown.
bit behind. It was just a bit from behind, but again.
And this one's gonna end in a tie. Chandler Gilbert lacking bodies, lacking their starting goalkeeper, and they settle for a tie.
So the coaching staff conversing with each other, whether it's straight, if it is in fact, since it's conference play, if it remains a tie or if it does go to OT, both teams staying on the field. So I think we might be getting some extra soccer here, it looks like.
Okay, so that is the case in conference play.
players looking confused if they're getting an extra 15
No,
or not. But
this one's done, and this one ends in a tie. And a great job by Chandler Gilbert. Team lacking bodies, a team losing its starting goalkeeper, a team that didn't get some calls on some questionable physicality, lack of calls by the referees on the field. And as you walk away from this one, Bryce, for a Chandler Gilbert team that has lost 3 straight and they get a tie here, how do you rate this one? Is this a win for the team? Do they walk away feel good about this?
Yeah, I'm never typically one for quote-unquote moral victories. However, this kind of does feel like it fits into that category. Ultimately, like you said, still missing a handful of starters, obviously. Having your starting center back have to play in net for the second half. It's one where you'll smile, you'll take your point, you'll stay where you are, level to where you started the night in the standings, and again, hope to get a couple more bodies healthy before the next one. Again, it's a very doable, we'll call it, schedule for them the rest of the way out here. And again, it's not a win. You'd love to win. However, a couple wins now, maybe 2 or 3 out of their last 4, and they're securely into the tournament. So,
Chandler
not
Gilbert.
the end of the day, not the end of the world.
Now 1-5-1 in conference play, 1-6-1 overall, and next up on their agenda, they'll take on Gateway on the road on Tuesday, as well as the men. Gateway women at 5 o'clock, the men at 7. And they're Saturday, they're right back here against Paradise Valley. The men will be back here at 7. We'll keep it here. We'll see if we can talk to Erin Holt, who grinded her way to go in between the pipes to secure the tie for Chandler Gilbert. And Bryce, before I let you go, we've seen the intensity between the women. What kind of intensity are we going to get between the men?
Oh yeah, again, whenever you're playing one of the top teams in the country, again, as maybe the underdog as the Coyotes are going to be tonight in this one, it could get chippy. It'll be physical, it'll be aggressive, there's going to be a lot of contact, and ultimately every last ball on the field is going to be scratched and clawed for. So, you know, again, as a coach, you're excited for those types of games.
Bryce, as always, we appreciate the expert analysis, as I thought we saw a great match between these two teams, and in conditions not favorable to playing soccer whatsoever.
No, yeah, 0-0 on the scorecard, but ultimately a lot more action than that would maybe have you think from just looking at the scoreboard. So
absolutely,
great match, and hopefully another good one here on deck.
Scott Smith and his team perseveres. They snap a 3-game losing skid with a tie against Pima, a team that was riding a 3-game winning streak, 3-match winning streak, and now it's the men. We'll take a short timeout. We'll have the men in just a bit, and we'll see if we can track down Erin Holt to join us right here on the Chandler Gilbert Sports